What's up, everyone? It's me, the Olympus Action Legends. So, a while back, I watched a show called Man vs. Bee, and I just wanted to talk about it today. And yeah, I will be just discussing about my opinion of the show. Yeah, as you can see, that was just a small part of the trailer, but otherwise, watching the series was really interesting, really funny. I found that to be enjoyable. Uh, yeah, I mean, I think my opinion, I would rate the movie about 8 out of 10. Reason why it'd be 8 out of 10 is that, I mean, I just didn't like the bee. I don't know why, but I just didn't like that guy. That bee really just was really annoying me. I got annoyed with the bee. But otherwise, I did like the main character. I forgot his name, but yeah, the guy's pretty pretty funny. And yeah, I mean, basically he was just there to like house sit like this very like you know fancy house that these people, left because obviously they were going for vacation and don't mind me, just trying to, you know, think while playing games. But yeah, this guy's part of this, housekeeping company or whatever, and he's been working. I'm not. I think he was new to the job. Sorry, wasn't working there for a while. Sorry, he's actually he was new to the job, and and what happened was that while he was in the house, obviously house sitting, uh, this bee comes along, and this bee is just annoying him. This bee is just giving him a hard time, and it's actually quite bothering him as well because he just doesn't, he doesn't like any like small thing to bother him, whatever it may be. I won't go into too much of detail of what it is because it'd be spoiling. But yeah, otherwise it's kind of like this whole like Tom and Jerry kind of thing, where the man is just chasing this bee. He just does not want this bee. He tries many ways to get rid of the bee, but it just doesn't seem to work. Yeah, and it's quite funny. I won't lie, and the episodes are quite really short. So if you have Netflix and you want to binge it, right, you can just go ahead. Or, if you have any time, you can just watch it there, and you it's pretty short. It's about I think 10 to it's about 10 minutes, 12 minutes. It quite depends, but it's very short. It's like a 10 minute like thing. It's not really long, but yeah, I mean it's probably one of the most funniest shows on Netflix, in my opinion. Netflix, but still, I think it's not just only funny, but it's also quite emotional as well. Not too emotional, but yeah, it's pretty. You can get pretty intense, if I should say, when it comes to just like what the man tries to do to get rid of the bee. And yeah, I mean, overall, it's I mean it's like this very weird concept because you wouldn't be able to like I don't know how they came up with making such a series like that because obviously on you know just thinking about it, it's a bit weird to have a man fighting a bee. Obviously that's a weird concept also. That's kind of straight off a B movie or something like that, you know it but I just am quite surprised of how the writers managed to make such a thing like this. I mean, and not just only that, but the people behind the show. I'm just quite surprised how they've made this incredible concept of a man fighting against a bee because he doesn't want the bee in his house. Uh, there is a lot that goes on in the show. Uh, yeah, it's usually just funny. Uh, Usually the show doesn't take itself seriously, but obviously it's because it's more or less of a comedy aspect, and also it's nice to see Ron Eckerson back in the game. Back in the show. Well, what I mean, like show business, kind of like you know, because it was like a long time since we saw Ron Eckerson. Like I think the last time I saw the guy in a movie or like in a show. No, I'm actually not in a show. Sorry, but more or less of a like movie or like at least scene. You know, somewhere. You know, acting was Johnny English 2018. Sorry, I'm a bit sick. But yeah, I think that was the last time I saw Mr. Bean, uh, aka Ron Atkinson, acting. Uh, afterwards, this has been afterwards. Sorry, excuse my English, not language, but yeah, it's a bit weird to kind of understand how they actually got to that show, but I don't mind. I'm just grateful that I can just like watch it, right? And at least know that it's funny, entertainable, enjoyable, instead of just like watching this like kind of show that's mostly on Netflix, but like I have to like pretend to laugh. I'm not trying to be offensive, but like sometimes it's hard for me to laugh at stuff like. But this kind of gave me a good laugh as well. I mean, the slapstick is just pure. I just love the comedy. Just love how Rowan Atkinson is just acting as Mr. Bean. It's like, it's quite insane to just. It's typical Mr. Bean. It's like Mr. Bean. It's just like a typical Mr. Bean episode, but only thing is, it's Mr. Bean as he's older and he talks more than then he keeps quiet. But I don't mind. Otherwise, yeah, that's about it for me. And yeah, so enough about talking about the whole Rowan Atkinson getting back into the show aspect and Mr. Bean and whatever. Honestly, I can't say a lot for the show. The reason why I wouldn't say a lot for the show is because that's just about it. That's the whole concept. You know, it's like slapstick comedy, Tom and Jerry, basically. Like so, guys, if you want to, and girls, whoever's watching, give it a shot. I highly recommend it. If you like comedy, this might be for you. If you like Mr. Bean, it's definitely for you. But yeah, I just am grateful that Rowan Atkinson got back into the game. I don't know whether if he's doing official acting, but hey, even if he was just there for Man versus Bee, I'm glad he did something to make his fans happy. I'm not like a full hardcore Rowan Atkinson fan, but I do like the man's work. I think he's a very talented actor, a very hardworking guy, obviously. I mean, I've heard a little bit about him and his backstory, but otherwise, won't get into that. But all I do know is that that guy can really act funny, and you're going to actually see a lot of silly things happening in this show. A lot of what I would say highly ridiculously funny stuff. The reason why I said in that way is because it's ridiculous. It's also funny. It's also a bit strange of what kind of happens in the show, but hey, you know what? If that's just my opinion about it. Yeah, I mean, I just really love Man vs. Bee. I think it's a great show. Also, possibly very funny. I'm not quite sure if this is season two. I don't think there'll be a season two. I mean, that those episodes are really short because of this whole concept of a man trying to get this bee out of this house and all that stuff. But yeah, I mean, it really does a good job, especially for entertaining someone like me, and especially like with kind of understanding the whole like um reason why the guy is chasing the bee and what happened in the series. Like it's quite interesting, very interesting. I'm not gonna spoil it here, But if you want to know what the show is about, then go and watch it. Um, and then yeah, maybe I can talk about this in some future. Maybe I'll talk about my favorite scenes about Man versus Bee. Maybe I'll talk about the good and bad of Man versus Bee. Oh yeah, also guys and girls, I'll be back for pointless runs tomorrow. I'll just have to think about an episode. Um, think about an idea for the new episode, man. And yeah, I mean, if you guys enjoyed it, then make sure to subscribe to the channel, like, and share the video. I'm not gonna force you guys to kind of like, you know, do something, that you don't want to do. Obviously, it is your choice if you want to watch subscribe to the channel, also watch the show. But again, it's your choice. If you feel interested, watch the show. I'm promising you guys, it is and girls, that it's a really, really good show. So, people, make sure you watch Man vs. Bee if you want more of Mr. Bean. Anyways, I'm Olympus Action Legends, and that's a wrap for today's video. And I'll see you guys next time. Peace.